نماز جمعه پس جمعه خب میشه وضو گرفت. قضا وقت ظهر دیگه نه؟
قبل از
اگر بعدش یا فرداش قضاش میشه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا معينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Because yesterday was the anniversary of the demise or Shahada of Imam Zain al-Abidin, some few minutes I just wanted to give, just to say something really about this Imam. Altogether, we can't really give the I don't know, the value, the justice to A'immah altogether. I mean, the way they are, to explain or to say who they are, or what is their level. It's certainly beyond our knowledge. But we try to explain as much as we can. We can always say infinite, although we can't imagine what is infinite, but we can say it's infinite. So it's no problem. We can always start with saying about A'immah as well. But three Imams, we normally we overlook them. One, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, Imam Zain al-Abidin, Imam Hassan al-Askari. Normally these three we don't really give them the statue they are compared to other A'immah, I'm saying. So what I want to say is that according to some riwayats which I've read a long time ago, there are also a ranking between A'immah. So we can say who is better than the other altogether. What, something like that. We can't say, but if there wasn't this riwayah, I couldn't say that. We can't distinguish. It's not in our level. If they said, okay, we can say this is as it is. But otherwise, it's not something that we can distinguish ourselves. But altogether, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he is well behind or in front of others. Quite distance between Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and our A'immah. But because we've learned about logarithmic scale, in logarithmic scale we can reduce the 10 times becomes twice, or 100 times only becomes 4 times, 100 times becomes 4 times, or 1,000 times becomes only 8 times. So it's in that scale that we compare the Prophet and A'immah with us, with others. Altogether, we know that Prophet and Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, they are شجرة واحدة وسائر الناس في شجرة شتى. The Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they are different from the rest. I mean, even in logarithmic scale, the difference is a lot. So we know that. But if we close into that Ahlul Bayt, close and more go into that ranking between the members of this Ahlul Bayt, we see the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is much higher. Imam Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, "Ana abdun min abid Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam." I'm a slave from Prophet's slaves. So, and you know, he was grown up by the Prophet. Prophet was 30 years elder than Imam Ali alayhi salam. And so when he was born, practically, physically, he was grown up by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when in Medina, for reasons, you know, and we don't have time to discuss it. The Prophet made brotherhood between people from Mecca with people from Medina. Well, Imam Ali was left alone without any person, and he was a bit unhappy with what's happening. But at the end, Prophet said that Imam Ali alayhi salam is my brother. That was too much for Imam. It's really good reward. First of all, as I said, he was considering Prophet as his father, but now considering him as a brother is increasing the ranking. Is very good. So he was very happy, and if you want to really make Imam happy when you want something from Imam, just say brother of Prophet. He would like it. it's very high level. But unfortunately, we see that at the demise of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after that, just one day after, or maybe less than a day, when Abu Bakr, he came, and other groups really, when they came and wanted allegiance from Imam Ali, and they threatened Imam Ali to kill him if he doesn't do that. Imam said, do you kill Abdullah and Akhu Rasuleh? Abu Bakr said, Abdullah, yes, because he couldn't say no, because everybody is Abdullah, we are also Abdullah. But Akhu Rasulullah, no. So he denied even something which was so obvious, so famous, so everybody open, everybody knew that. But politics, in politics, you can deny Shatur Didi, Nadidi. We can simply say we don't see that, we don't know. So he denied that, which is really something by itself, just by this act, only by this act, he's done something too bad to Imam Ali alayhi salam. So certainly Imam Ali alayhi salam is next in ranking. Then we have Hazrat Zahra salamullah alayha. Then we have Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, almost the same. I don't have any other way to say, because in the ranking also I couldn't see that which one is better. But a lot of ad'iyah in du'as and supplications, we see that they put them together, Imam Hassan and Hussein. So they are, it seems to be almost the same level, although we know that Imam Hassan alayhi salam was Imam for Imam Hussein for 10 years. So in that sense, he was superior, but also Imam Hussein is in a sense like higher. But it seems altogether, in my opinion, at least that's my understanding, is that Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein are in the same rank. Then we have A'imma in the same order. So Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam is higher than Imam Baqir alayhi salam, and Imam Baqir is higher than Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and it goes to Imam Hassan al-Askari. But when it goes to Imam Zaman, there's a switch, there's a difference. Imam Zaman alayhi salam comes between Imam Hussein and Imam Zain al-Abidin, and this is a riwayah also, it's not mine. We couldn't say that, nobody knows that. But my point is, unfortunately, our feeling from Imam Zain al-Abidin is that he is a sick, silent, always not active person. Or maximum he wanted to do, he made dua. Zain al-Abidin, ibadah, he made ibadah, which is not good. I mean, the first, we say Imam Baqir alayhi salam, Baqir al-ilm. Okay. In almost all riwayats, where Imam was saying that about he was teaching these riwayats about fiqh in particular, he was narrating it from his father, and then from his father, from Imam Ali alayhi salam, from Prophet. So he had learned them all from Imam Zain al-Abidin. So Imam Zain al-Abidin is alim. Unfortunately, the same is for Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. We always consider Hazrat Abbas as a brave person, just brave, not as a knowledge person. That's another mistake we normally have in our mind. So Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam is after Imam Zaman and above all other A'immah. It's very high rank really. If we consider it as a ranking, it's very high rank, and we miss that, and unfortunately we do not give justice to him because of that position. Unfortunately, our view of him is much lower. That's one point. If you have any question now, it's because it's an open question, just because that was yesterday, the anniversary of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. Now, if you have any question, أنا بقى هاي بنقول الشيء سؤالي ده. شو There was one question raised, was a bit okay. In Tawheed Mufaddal. Tawheed Mufaddal is what Imam Sadiq alayhi salam told one of his followers called Mufaddal. It's a very long one. In fact, I haven't read all of it really, and you would be surprised. I was surprised when some aspect of it was given. When I heard about it, for example, giraffe have long neck because it can reach to high upper levels of grass, the trees, leaves in the trees. So that was its food, and it was good for it. And that's exactly the way is this our chap. I forgot his name. إنجليزي again. Evolutionists, evolutionary people, they say. The point is, the question is, I want you to add, I mean, because that's an open discussion really. So my question to you is, when we have something like this, okay, there's one example, or eyebrow, why we have eyebrows, isn't it? For example, Imam says this because it helps you, the sun doesn't come in directly to your eyes and protects it or something like that. So the explanation is something material anyhow. I mean, even Imam is saying the same thing as the materialistic people say. I mean, evolutionary people saying. So the content is the same. But one says that this is because of evolution. Imam says this is because of God. How we can, why, I mean, okay, how we can, yes, have both of them, or which one is correct, or I want you to explain, elaborate a bit more about that, if you have anything. Just elaborate, just say, because this is not it's unofficial, I mean, it's just really we want to discuss it. YouTube, نمیدونن کی هستی اسمتون معلوم نمیشه. No, really, it's simple because you see, it's even if it's evolution, we say okay, no problem, it's evolution. Evolution does this, we agree with that, but who created evolution in the first place? Unfortunately, the concept of God is problem with us. I mean, we have something difficult. I mean, if we say God is the law itself, the law of evolution, maybe the people get surprised. Law? God is different. God is not law. We don't know. We don't know. The attributes are some of them which is given to us so we can use them, but we don't know exactly what is God. But when Imam says that this is by God, we understand we have to make the concept, the perception or the concept which we have from God, we have to correct it. So God is the creator of the laws of this universe, whatever laws there is. I'm surprised. I heard even this year, so one of these, I believe, modernicists, they were, I'm not sure, that they said this Big Bang, this is wrong, and a lot of just bad thing about Big Bang. I was surprised. Big Bang is supposed to be very religious, very good point. I mean, I don't know, you know the story behind it or not, but not bad. I'll just explain it again. Einstein, when he made his theory of relativity, and he says it in his book also, he explains it, that I put a factor, which is, they call it now cosmological constant, because without it, the universe either were expanding or shrinking. And according to philosophy of the time of Einstein, we had eternal space. And philosophers always believed that the being, the air, the nature is eternal. It always been or was there. So in order to correct his formula, he added a constant, lambda and something times some, in order to make the universe stable. Then there was a priest. His name is Lemaitre. I don't know its pronunciation because it's a French pronunciation, and he was Belgian. He was Catholic, and he knew about physics. I mean, he was a scientist as well at the same time. He was interested for science, and he learned about it. He realized that this lambda, this extra constant, is nothing to do with physics and with the theory of relativity. And if we take it out, we can say that the universe is expanding. So it has, if we go back, started from a Big Bang, from something. At that time, they didn't use the word Big Bang. So when he saw Einstein in conferences in Europe, twice he could discuss it with him. And the good thing about Einstein is that he really was a man of science. Anything, if he considered to be probably true, he would consider it. Doesn't matter. So altogether, I couldn't find in the internet. First I heard about this in a BBC program. And then I searched about this name, Lemaitre, and about the program, and there was quite a lot of information. But the meeting, again, in BBC program, they mentioned about this meeting. I couldn't find that meeting, when it was and what was it in it. But apparently could be that one day they make an appointment because at the same time he gives a solution. This Lemaitre gives a proposal of a test, a redshift test, that if we use this redshift test, we can prove that the universe is expanding or reducing or what. I mean, so Einstein invited the head of astronomy of America, the man called Hubble. We know it today. So Hubble was a very practical man, and he was head of the astronomy in the United States. He, Einstein, and Lemaitre, they had a meeting for almost a day. And at the end of the day, they agreed to check, to do this, to use really the redshift test. Hubble agreed that was because his specialty. He said, I will do that. I will check it and see if it's the universe is stable or is it moving, changing. And less than a year, almost a year, but less than a year, he could prove, Hubble, that the universe is expanding. And he got a Nobel Prize because of that. And at that time, after he proved it, Einstein took out this formula, this lambda, the cosmological constant, and he said this was my biggest blunder, or maybe one of my biggest blunder, because he believed that he has made a lot of just guessworks. So we see that a religious man with physical background could change our understanding, our perception of the universe toward something which is, as a religious people, we would like to know. I mean, it was really good for us that Big Bang is more closer, at least, to our teachings than the philosophy of that time. But I'm surprised when I see some ulama or scholars, they say that Big Bang is against religion or something like that. Probably because I think that when you use Big Bang theory, like Hawking himself, he thought that we learn about God's mind. So he thought when we learned about the Big Bang, so we can create, or we created, or we are equal to God almost. So he said that we read God's mind, or we know what God said in his book, A Short History of Time.
I think when they mentioned the Big Bang, they were against the cause and effect.
Well, no, they learned the cause and effect. It's not against it. No. It's not, in fact, this is not against the cause and effect. In fact, Big Bang is a cause because he found the formula for it. And the formula is so accurate, I mean, 17 figures and maybe just the one in 17, something small change. It's that accurate. It's very, very, if you change a bit on that, the whole universe will be a different universe. And interesting now, because I mentioned it, the Big Bang with that accuracy is correct. And now we have 95% of the mass of the world. We don't know where is it. And they say, I don't know how come. I mean, that accuracy, really 1 in, I don't know how many billion, was accuracy of the theory to say that this is good. But when 95% of the universe is not there, it's too much faith. It's really too much faith. But anyhow, my question returned the same question. As we said in Imam Sadiq's situation, he uses the same sentencing or same cause and effect. I'm using the same cause and effect. We are saying that we have giraffes. Imam says they have long neck because of their food. They need it. So that's a cause and effect. So why we call God created that, and the creationist, they say, no creationist, the evolutionist, they say this is evolution, it's a formula. What we are saying is that if we didn't have God out of the matter, out of the creation, yes, they were right. We couldn't say anything. But the God which we in Islam at least, we have, in Christianity maybe not. Also this, I have to continue, this chap, Lemaitre, he did so really good, and I should say, I don't know, it changed the course of the relativity and our understanding. And yet, Einstein in his book never mentions his name. Never mentions. He says, I understood, I realized this formula was not relevant because of Lorentz formula. Different person. Lorentz was, before Lorentz gave his formula in 1998, 97, something like that. And Einstein, his first idea was in 1905, 7 years after Lorentz. So if you want to use the Lorentz contraction idea, the formula as a point, he should have done it in the first place. No, he didn't want to mention Lemaitre because it's a religious person. That's really the problem with scientists. Sometimes they do not want to mention it. I mean, nobody mentions Lemaitre in science books. Any science books, you can't find his name. But unfortunately, in internet, you can find, because in internet, a lot of people, they believe in other aspects as well. They believe in everything in internet. You can find all sorts of things, really. So the God which we have, the answer, at least my answer is, the God which we know is the creator of that evolution, of the code, of the cause and effect. And we call it asbab in Quran. We don't call it Allah. I mean, the word is a bit different between philosophers and Islam, because Allah is only God himself, is the Allah, is the cause. The real cause for everything is God, for everything. But there is a law. Law is different from cause. The cause creates the law, and the law works all over the world. Okay, that's the laws we can find about these laws. We can call it evolution, whatever you want to call it, it's no problem. If it's proved to be a law affecting or working in our world, then it's all right. We agree with it, it's no problem. But we say that God is the creator of this code, this law. And because of him being a creator of this, we can call that he did this, he did that, one level higher. We can call it also evolution, no problem. If we are not against God, it's no problem. We shouldn't be also fighting something only by name, because of name. I agree with evolution as long as it is proved to be scientific thing. Well, there are a lot of problems with it, but if it's proved to be this is the way things are working, I agree, no problem. But who made that law? Who made this working in this world? That's God. Then we have another point, similar, I mean important, the same, that comes to Hawking idea. That Stephen Hawking also, he had this in mind, that God has created something, made the law, and created it. Okay, so everything mechanically is going on because of that law, that even God cannot change it. That's the point. Okay, are the laws in this world something that God has created once in the Big Bang and go on, or he can change it? Certainly both are true. As I said, aballah an yujra al-ashya illa bi asbab. Normally our scholars, they get used, they read it in this way, that aballah, I forgot even that. يعمل أشياء بأسبابها. Yujrani, it's It's a different sentencing. But anyhow, what is in the coffee is in this. أبى الله أن يجرى الأشياء إلا بأسباب. So أبى الله, God wanted. It's something that God himself wanted. So when he wanted that everything in this world to be as a cause and effect, if we call it cause and effect, we can translate it as asbab, no problem. But cause is not the initiator, is not the inventor. Cause, if you have in mind as something in between. I don't know how much. Okay, question. What is cause and effect? Okay, what is definition of cause and effect? No, what do you mean? When we say cause and effect, I mean, what do you mean by cause of something? It's very simple. Yes, cause, when we have the cause of, when we say A is cause of B, means when we have A, automatically B appears, is created. And when we take out the A, B is gone. Every time we bring this, comes. Take it out, goes. That's cause and effect. Otherwise, how we can call it something is cause of something else? We can't say anything. But in this definition, I ask the switch and lamp. We turn off the switch, the lamp goes off. Turn on and lamp gets on. Is this a cause for lamp? It is a cause, because otherwise it wouldn't work. But we know, we call it, in philosophy, they call it imperfect cause. I mean, not in entire or the main cause, if we call it. Sub-cause, if we call it sub-cause. So I'll ask, go further. When we say sub-cause, because if the wire between the switch and the lamp is cut, whatever you do with the switch doesn't matter, doesn't work. So it's not a real cause and effect, the switch, we know. Because if the wire is cut, it doesn't do anything. So the switch is not a real cause. But if everything else is connected, it is a cause. We say, okay, if the wire is there, if the wire is the cause, if we don't have electricity in the generator, in the power, you have the wire, and you cut the wire, and you connect the wire. If the generator is there, if the power is there, yes, it works. Again, wire is the cause. But if the generator is not there, even the wire is not a cause. We go back. If the generator works, fuel behind it, or electromagnetic system should work, or we can go to quantum physics behind it, and we can go behind it, whatever is behind it. You can go more and more levels behind it until you find the real cause for this light to turn on. That nothing is behind it. And if there is nothing behind it, that's what we call it God. Our definition is our definition. But if there is something material, certainly is not God and is not the cause. It's not real cause. Real cause is God behind it, and that's what we say. I mean, the definition, or at least this is nothing to prove. This is a model. This is what we are told, and this is a doctrine in Islam. We don't need to prove it. It's you can like it, you don't like it. In Quran it says فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادَ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. So the methodology in us to understand the truth is not that we find the truth, because if we want to find the truth, who knows the truth? In one film, there was a musician, and he came to it was in a village, And they came to police, local police, and told one musician, he said, that person has stolen my notes. Okay, that person was a smart person. He called him and say, the police wanted to know that is he really stolen the notes from this chap or not, but how he could understand. He asked the musician to play it. So he played something. And the smart asked the smart person, this person, okay, you play it. And he did something, maybe wrong, totally wrong. He was really the thief, but he did something, a noise, create a noise. This police, he couldn't know that which one is correct because he wasn't a musician. He didn't know the code, which one is playing it properly. And even if it was properly, he could understand who is the original creator. He wasn't in that level at all. So if we want to prove something in the level of God and that level, really, we can't do that. But we can compare it with other theories. We can compare it with other models. We can compare it with other doctrines. And we can select the one which we think is right, which that part is, again, part of our doctrine, that it seems that we have something within us that can find the truth, can find about God and the truth, because Allah says, فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادْ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. So as long as we really, honestly try to follow the truth as far as we feel it, we understand it with all due diligence, we call it in law. If we do the due diligence and we come to a conclusion, God says, okay. So we have to follow that until at next level or sometime later, God himself, he would correct us if we were wrong. He would do it. And as I mentioned last week, or maybe before that it was, we don't have only rational thinking. It's not critical thinking. We have also a'imma. We have also people. We can use empathy. We have this Majalis Imam Hussein, which automatically we learn from them directly. Ayatollah Sistani, in this regard, he said, look to me, he told me. Look, these people who are going for Arba'in, they are all have direct connection with Imam Hussein. They deal with him. Really dealing. A lot of them material dealing. They either they want from Imam something they've already got and they are doing it, or they want something from Imam. 80-90% is material reasons behind it, but it's good because they are dealing with Imam directly. And Ayatollah Sistani said, look, they can communicate with Imam better than they can learn from us, ulama. He didn't give further, of course, but I'm telling you, but because we have two types, we have right brain and we have left brain. From ulama, we learn from left brain. But with Imam, we learn from in the right brain. So we have two ways. One, فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادْ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ, then is the language and the deliberation and discussion. That's one side. And the other one is empathy and being with ulama. That's why just if we look at alim, just sit next to alim, look at alim is thawab. has sawab, is good. Because you learn. If you just see, if you be his companion, you learn a lot of things just by the way he's doing it. And his stand, I mean, it's important also. So coming back to our question, is that first we said we got in our definition the main cause of anything happening in this world. Anything happens generally, any happening, there's a reason behind it, and that last cause is God. That's the definition. And we say that's part of the again ayat Quraniya which we have. It's true that God has created this world with a law, abiding law, all over it as it goes, yet he can change it whenever he wants. You see, this concept is a bit difficult for a lot of people, especially those who do not know computer. Because they think mechanical things, if you do it, the law is there, the formula is there. The formula is there, you can't change the formula. Formula is there, so what do you say you can't change it? It's impossible. Well, because they don't know simple programming. In programming, we have certain times or occasions we can have input. And generally, I don't know nowadays in our time, we have something called interrupt. Interrupt can come anytime. Anytime you can stop the program and do a subroutine, special something like that. So, but in key input, these instructions in the program gives the possibility of changing the situation because of whatever input is there. So part of these regulations, part of these rules which God has put in this world is if we اتقوا الله ويعلمكم الله, or اتقوا الله, taqwa and يجري عليكم مدرارا. If you check the ayah midrara, the rain comes in abundant rain will come if you obey God. So not only if God wants, he can change. We also can change. We can do sadaqah and change the death time. I mean, the deadline for the death, or change it. It's there are not a lot, but there are some instructions, situations. Part of the rule is part of the rule. It's not something new created. It was created from the early beginning. But part of that rule, we can change the course of life in this world. We can. How much we can change in our daily life, that's a matter of question. We don't know. We can discuss it. It's a bit questionable. But certainly there are cases which easily God can change. We also can change. And we can do. So when we say that, like Jews, they said in Quran, يَدُ اللَّهِ مَغْلُولَةً غُلَّتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ. Quran says their hand be tight. No, it's not like that, and God can change the world as he wants. It seems that Jews, they were more philosophical thinking at that time, and they thought that God has created the world and that's it. Nothing can change, and it remains. Yadullahi maghlula. That's the word that the terminology used in Quran, and Quran says no, it's not the case. So at this stage we hope. But if you have any question for next week, would be better, so I can prepare at least the ayat, and or if there is a riwayah at least would be more authentic. This way, I have to work on my memory, which is no good. It's terrible. I forget always. So I don't know, any question for next week?
Thank you so much. You start from 6 and finish by 7, yeah?
Inshallah. But although namaz is coming back, so we don't know we should change it or not. But until we can change it, it's up to us really, up to people. I mean, we think it's better to change it.
From 6:30 to finish the namaz time. Yeah?
Yes, after namaz 8,
You start from 6:30 to
7. So we can start 7 after namaz.
6:30.
6:30 namaz.
It's coming back every
Yes.
10 minutes is coming back.
Yes.
If you start from 6:30, you can start with namaz and then start.
Okay. Inshallah, we start with namaz next week. Inshallah, after 6. أهلا وسهلا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم. اللهم عجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.